kind of YouTube. If you're coming from the other video, I'm glad to see you. Hold up. I'm glad to see you here. I love you. Let's get into it.
All right, guys. The gate was 10.6 million Canadian, basically $8 million US. The highest grossing event in the arena history, highest grossing arena event in Canada. And it was 18,559 people sold out. Jasmine and Jillian both won Performance of the Night, and Fight of the Night was Strickland Duplessis. They all won $50,000.
Nice. We've got a new champion, Hendrikus Duplessis. I'm curious, did you have him winning that fight? It was a very close fight, and did you have him on the scorecards winning?
It's funny. We were just looking at how the media had scored it, and right down the middle, I had it 2-2 going into the last round, and I thought Strickland won the last round. Guys who were sitting at the same table had it the other way, and you know, it was a close fight. I thought Strickland looked great in the first 2 rounds. I mean, the jab was fucking beautiful. You don't see jabs like that in MMA. And the jab did what they're supposed to do. Both of his eyes were swollen shut. He slowed down in the 3rd and 4th. Duplessis kept coming forward, you know, then started mixing up takedowns and punches. And I had it even going to the 5th round. I'm like, this is the round, see who wants it. And they both started to turn it up a little bit. It's one of those tight fights. But I'm also one of these guys, I believe you have to take it from the champion. So.
Sean Strickland's an interesting thing, right? Like, some of the things he says piss a lot of people off. I'm sure it can't be great for sponsors, but clearly this week he has become a massive star for the UFC. So with that in mind, do you want to give him an immediate rematch because it was such a close fight, or what do you want to do with Sean next?
I don't know. I mean, eventually these two are going to end up fighting again, I'm sure. But we're not thinking about an immediate rematch right now.
Okay. Hendrikus did call for Israel Adesanya. I know that everyone asks you about the UFC 300 main event every day at this point, I'm sure. But is that something that could potentially happen at all?
I'll have UFC's 300's main event for you soon.
Give us a hint.
I'm ready for that shit.
Give me a hint.
No.
Okay. New champion for the women's bantamweight division. Raquel got the job done tonight. What did you think of their fight?
Yeah. You know, I've been close to Raquel for a long time, probably 10 years. And one of the things there's many things I love about Raquel. One of the things that drives me crazy about Raquel is she does not listen to her corner ever. She literally never listens to her corner. It's amazing. She keeps winning. You stay in the middle of that octagon and you
You're so small in the corner. You look at that 30 frames per second. Piss me the fuck off.
throw. You let your hands go. You don't get into the clinch with Naira. You know, it's just. But she won. I'm happy for her. She's been at this for a long time. She's had a lot of ups and downs. Stuck it out, and she's a world champion now.
You mentioned, you said before, like, one of the best things about your job is getting to put the belt around people's waists when they have been fighting for it for a long time. With her, she's been doing this forever. Is it just a nice thing?
Yeah, and we're super close. So, yeah, to see her win a world title and, you know, yeah, it's awesome.
Two more for me. Duplessis, obviously South African. I know UFC Africa is something you've wanted to do forever. Could he be the guy that takes you there?
Absolutely, positively can be the guy.
Okay.
Yeah.
And last one outside tonight's event, there was reports that the Saudi event's been pushed back to June. I'm curious if that's true. And what about the reports where it was because of a disagreement over the card?
Total bullshit. That's a straight out fucking lie. I don't know who started it or how it started, but not one fight was announced to Saudi. Not one fight was announced to him. I called and asked to push the card back. Yeah, because we had a couple of guys that we want on the card, and they weren't ready. So, listen, you know how we are. We want to deliver. And if we're going to Saudi Arabia at the level that these guys do things, and it's a fight night, but we want to make it the best fight night we've ever done. So, anybody who came out and said it was because the card wasn't good is a fucking liar.
You know, right. What did you make of the fight between Neil and Mike Malott? Because Mike he kind of was viewed as this next star from Canada.
Oh my goodness, man! That boy Mike, man, he was winning. Then got fucking put out.
Neil Magny late in that third round. What did you make of that performance in there?
Yeah, listen, Neil Magny is the all-time greatest spoiler. That guy don't ever think you're just going to go in and run over Neil Magny. And tonight he proved it again. He got destroyed for 2.5 rounds, and then turned it around, came back, and pulled out the win.
Mike was winning, man.
A similar question about Masvidal. He another win. He kind of pushed back on the label the fans gave him as a decision maker. Like, he only wins decisions. He doesn't think that's a fair assessment because he's winning dominantly. What did you make of his performance and his possibility of fighting for the title soon?
So what did he say? He's bummed out because people call him.
He's not bummed, but he says fans constantly call him, like, they criticize him because he's only winning decisions and not going out there and melting people.
Yeah. Well, not everybody's a knockout or submission artist. It happens. But the thing is about Neil, I don't think that Neil's any.
Talking about Masvidal, Evloev against Arnold Allen, that fight.
Oh! I thought you were talking about Neil Magny. All right. Yeah. I mean, what's his win streak like? He's on.
I think he's like 18, 19.
Yeah, 18 or 19, and yeah, that place sucked the wind right out of that fight sucked the wind right out of the arena tonight. So it might bum him out, but he's got to deal with it. Yeah, that was the least fun fight anybody's ever seen. So he doesn't have much to complain about. You know who lost that fight? The fans. Yeah. So yeah, he doesn't have much to bitch about on that one.
I don't know if you were in the arena yet or not, but did you see the Sean Woodson, Charles Jourdain decision at the end of the confusion? Have you seen anything like that before?
No. Was that Buff?
I just think it was a little loud in there, so no one could really hear the scorecards or who had won. Charles celebrated even though he won, and Sean Woodson shook his...
So it wasn't read wrong? People just didn't hear it? Yeah. They heard it wrong?
It was read correctly, but no one could really hear it.
I was going to say that's a very rare... Buffer mess up. Buffer doesn't mess up much, ever. Probably counting on one hand in his entire career. So, yeah, weird.
The UFC on Instagram posted something about India, the UFC India. Is there anything plans for an event in India?
Eric in here?
We created an Instagram account for India.
We created an Instagram account for India.
And last one for me, one last thing on the Saudi card. The people that were putting on that show said that they had requested Conor headline that card. Is that even a possibility?
No.
Hey, Dana, over here.
But I love it, though. You know what the thing is with Saudi Arabia? These guys are like, bring us the best you got, and we'll pay for it, and we'll do this, and we'll do that. Listen, for us, it's not about the money or any of that stuff. We always want to put on the best possible card that we can. We've been that way since day one. And when you go into a place like Saudi Arabia that does it at a level that they do it, we want to deliver.
Dana, just your thoughts on Jasmine Jasvidius on the undercard. She had to fight up a weight class after her opponent. It seemed like she couldn't make the weight, and she goes up there and gets a really dominant performance, a big strike differential. Just what did you think of the way she handled things this week and going out there and getting the win?
Yeah, so I talked to her after the fight, and she was like, I'm still pissed off about this whole thing, and she comes in overweight and she does this and that. Yeah, I mean, what was it was like 288 to 4.
Yeah.
It's a pretty good performance, yeah.
Showed the
It
damn
looked like once
master
again,
class.
Toronto really, showing up here for the card the whole week. Everyone was buzzing. You heard the crowd here tonight. Any update on any potential Canadian dates for the rest of the year?
Canada has been very good to us for many, many years. I love this place, and yes, the answer is yes. We'll be coming up here from Toronto to Vancouver. We're going to cover the entire country and get back to, business as usual as it was back in the day with Canadian fights.
Is it possible you could go back to Vancouver again this year? You've gone there a lot, since COVID, and it seems like it's always a good crowd and a good turnout.
Yeah, I mean, I could see us going all over the country, not just Vancouver and Toronto.
And just one more thing on the undercard. Jimmy Flick got a pretty big win here tonight. His opponent missed weight, gets the win. His contract is run up. Is he someone you're looking to maybe re-sign it for the flyweight division?
Absolutely.
Dana, if I get you over here, Sean Strickland, the story of the week, maybe the story of the last year, 14 months. There was a bit of a scuffle earlier this week. Some comments he made, some offensive comments, caused some public backlash. But I know you're not in the policy of policing your fighter's speech. But was there any discussion with UFC, ESPN, Bud Light, any sponsors about like how to kind of handle this situation?
Zero.
At the same time, from the people in Toronto, from the fans, he received maybe one of the loudest reactions I've ever seen live it was almost like Conor McGregor-esque. What's your impression of his star power right now? Like, does he always have to be fighting in front of crowds now? Can he still go to the UFC Apex? How do you view his drawing power?
Yeah, obviously, I mean, you heard the gate and all that stuff. That's a combination of UFC coming back to Canada and the main event. But yeah, I mean, he can fight anywhere. I mean, any of these guys can fight anywhere. Sean Strickland was never not an issue that we thought he couldn't draw anywhere, or we don't ever really think like that. We put on the best cards that we possibly can, and you roll into a city and we do all the bells and whistles, and we hope that the fighters do their job and deliver.
Did you get the sense from this week though that he's one of your top guys now?
Yeah, he's a star for sure, and I think now the way that this stuff works is now, Dricus wins tonight, wins the title, and I've been talking about Africa, and maybe we start looking at South Africa and start looking at arenas and possibly doing a fight down there this year.
Yeah, by the end of the crowd.
They should have been did a fight in Africa, man. Should have been did a fight in Africa. They had 3 Nigerian champs. 3 Nigerian champs in the most stacked weight classes. In arguably the best weight classes in the UFC.
I was just going bananas for both guys. It was an amazing reaction. Just last one. Unfortunately for us Canadians, we had 9 Canadians fight, only 2 won, 0 for 7 for the guys. What's your impression of that? The return to Toronto, to Ontario. How are you kind of feeling about, especially compared to Vancouver, where all the Canadians won? How was the energy kind of different?
I did a scrum yesterday with the media before the weigh-ins, and this is exactly what I said. You come in, to a big hometown, home country, whatever you want to call it, fight with the crowd, the pressure, the this, the that. Tonight was a big test for these guys, and here we are.
Dana here to your right. First of all, I don't know if you saw it, but the City Tavares rematch, the split decision in the end. What were your thoughts on that? The media scored it 100% for City.
Yeah, I had a lot of people blowing me up saying he got screwed in that fight. I don't know. I don't really have an opinion on it. I didn't score it. I didn't watch it closely enough to have an opinion, but you're not the first one to tell me that.
Considering it started in the Contender Series and they're 1-1, could you envision a point where they maybe finish that trilogy?
What's the question?
They started out on the
Right.
Contender Series, right? So they're 1-1
Right.
now. Would you consider doing a third fight for them down the line?
And this was the one that we were supposed to squash the whole controversy. Yeah. That didn't work out too well. I don't know. We'll see what happens.
And I know you kind of answered this somewhat, but when the trash talk between Sean and Dricus got a little dark there with the child abuse and then the brawl at 296, did you ever consider going to those guys and saying, hey, this might be the one time you need to tone it down?
This might be the one time you need to what?
Tone it down, the trash talk?
I don't tell anybody to do anything. I don't try to control any other human beings in any way, shape, or form. They do it I say it all the time, we're in the fight business, and, if you get your feelings hurt that bad, you probably shouldn't ask the type of questions when you know the answer you're going to get from Strickland. Let's start there. You know what I mean? If you ask him, you know who he is, and if you ask him a certain question, he was baited in that question.
I'm not, sorry, my mistake. Not referring to that question, just, Strickland got a little...
I know what you're saying.
Okay.
I know what you asked me. It is what it is. It's the fight business, man.
That shit sad. Like, damn, man. Everybody just won. Like, that's why I love the UFC. They don't got no fucking goddamn fines and shit cause a nigga said this and a nigga said that, man. Fuck. They already fighting, bro. Who the fuck cares?
Last one for me. You talked about maybe coming back to Canada. We're seeing the Saudi Arabia show this year. Are there any other destinations maybe that you haven't been to before that you'll be going back to this year that you can let us know about?
Now, right now, Saudi Arabia is going to be the first place, that we've never been. And who knows, I've been saying this all week. We had this card here. We got Anaheim. We got Miami. We got 300. We got Mexico City. And we have the Sphere. You know, we have a ton of and that doesn't include International Fight Week. We got a ton of badass fights lined up this year. And as those...
So they actually put in a fight in the fucking Sphere? Holy shit. Holy shit. Damn, I wish I was older. I would have my ass in fucking Las Vegas. I am supposed to be going to Las Vegas, but I think that's how I'm going for a damn tournament. God damn.
play out, they will determine where we go in October, November, and December. So who knows where we could end up by the end of this year.
Thanks, Dana.
Yep.
Dana over here.
Yep.
Raquel Pennington was saying kind of all week that this fight was originally supposed to be her and Juliana Pena, and we know Juliana was injured. She called her out in the cage saying this is the fight she's wanted since the Ultimate Fighter 10 years ago. Is it a pretty safe bet if Juliana gets healthy, that's the direction to go for her first title defense?
Yeah, could happen, yeah. I mean, I sitting right here now, I don't know what Juliana's situation is, but yeah, I mean, they're eventually going to fight.
Yeah, and as far as the middleweight title, you have Hamzat Chimaev out there tweeting to Dricus right now saying, see you at UFC 300. We know Dricus versus Adesanya is a huge fight too. What is going to be the process you guys take in figuring out what Dricus's next title defense will be? Because those are obviously both huge fights.
We'll figure this out Tuesday. We'll probably announce it next week.
Okay. Do you know what Izzy's availability is? Is he trying to fight again this year?
Do I know?
Israel Adesanya, like, is he looking to come back sooner than later? Do you know?
We'll find out next week.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Dana, I just want to go back. You were talking about, like, you obviously give a long leash to your fighters about, you know, what they can say when they are up there with the UFC microphone and you are getting into territory of homophobia, transphobia. Like, is there...
I don't give anybody a leash.
Well, I'm saying you...
A leash?
Like...
Free speech. Control what people say. Going to tell people what to believe. Going to tell people... I don't fucking tell any other human being what to say, what to think, and there's no leashes on any of them. What is your question?
I was asking that question. I'll move on, though.
Yeah, probably a good idea.
Bro just got bitch. Bro just got bitch, man.
Yeah, that's ridiculous to say I give somebody a leash.
That is crazy, though.
Free speech, brother. People can say whatever they want and they can believe whatever they want. And I don't think there's any... We had two gay women who fought in the co-main event. They sat on the stage with Sean Strickland. They could give a shit what Sean Strickland thinks or what he says or what his beliefs are or what his opinions are. You know what I mean? Go ahead. What do you got?
I want to go back as well. A number of months ago, you spoke with Sports Business Journal about that you were going to be sitting down with Jimmy Pitaro and talking about the future at ESPN beyond 2025. That was several months ago. At this point, are you still in the midst of, like, early negotiations, and are you envisioning post 2025 and ESPN being a big part of those?
Yeah, our deal is coming up, and yeah, I believe that talks will begin here with ESPN within the next 3 or 4 months.
And my last question, just because Mark Shapiro's talked a bit about the idea of these kind of super weekends with WWE, of going to a site one night, a WWE event, another night, a UFC event. Do you think that that type of thing works? And do you think that there are strategic ways to cross-promote between the two when there are distinct audiences as well that come with these products?
Could not agree with you more. I don't think, what I think is, if you take a city, I don't know, let's take a city like New York, Los Angeles, and any of the major cities, and you have...
I think you're going to Jabbo. We watched a couple questions. I don't want to see what the comments say. Rachel Pennington winning the women's bantamweight championship shows how low it sucks. Damn. Dana even forgot the name of the opponent from Pennington. Dana definitely wanted Strickland to win. Yeah, man. Shit. It's a fight business, though, man. Don't always go your way. I'm going to catch y'all next one.